Be me, 29-year-old PhD candidate in comparative literature. Dating boyfriend, let's call him Mark, for 3 years. Consider myself an intellectual, working on dissertation about post-structuralist critiques of modern consumerism. Very important work. Deconstructing the narrative of capitalism. I teach 2 sections of undergrad complet as an adjunct. Pay is garbage, roughly $28K a year without benefits. But it's prestigious. I'm shaping young minds, teaching them to think critically about the world. Mark is 30. He's a master electrician. Went to trade school. No college degree. He runs his own small business, just him and a van. Fixes wiring, installs panels, crawls in attics. He comes home dirty every day. Dust in his hair, cuts on his hands, smells like ozone and sweat. We live together in a nice loft downtown. Rent is high. He pays about 80% of it. I tell myself this is fair because my work has higher social value. I'm contributing to the canon of human thought. He's just connecting wires. Relationship is decent, but we have nothing in common intellectually. I try to talk to him about Foucault or Derrida over dinner. He nods and eats his pasta like a caveman. Asks me how my writing is going. I correct him. It's not just writing, it's research. He says, cool, babe. Then he starts talking about his day, talking about mode calculations, amperage, and difficult clients. Complaining about general contractors. I zone out. It's so boring. Technical manual labor talk. I feel embarrassed when I bring him to faculty parties. Everyone is drinking wine and discussing tenure tracks. Mark is drinking beer and standing awkwardly in the corner. My advisor asks him what he does. He says, I keep the lights on. Laughs at his own joke. I cringe. Later, I tell him he needs to be more cultured. Read a book occasionally. He says he reads code manuals and technical specs all day. Says if he gets it wrong, buildings burn down. If I get it wrong, nobody notices. I get angry. Tell him he doesn't understand the nuance of my field. He apologizes, buys me flowers. He's a good guy, just simple. Uneducated. A few months pass. Mark comes home excited. Says he landed a contract for a new luxury apartment complex. Huge job. Needs to hire 2 apprentices and buy a second van. Says this will push his income over $150K this year. I roll my eyes. More money, more problems, I say. Tell him he's just contributing to gentrification. Building luxury housing for the rich while the poor suffer. He looks deflated. Says it's work, babe. It pays the bills. I tell him he should use his skills for something ethical. Like volunteering for Habitat for Humanity. He says he does that on weekends sometimes, but he needs to run a business. I lecture him on the evils of the profit motive. He listens, looking tired, goes to bed early to wake up at 4 a.m. I stay up late grading papers, feeling superior. My dissertation is stalled. Advisor hates my latest chapter, says it lacks focus. I'm stressed. Mark is busy constantly, always on the phone with suppliers or inspectors. He brings home blueprints, spreads them on the dining table. I get annoyed. I need this space to think, I say. I'm trying to write about the existential void. He moves his blueprints to the coffee table. Says sorry, didn't mean to disturb the genius. Can't tell if he's being sarcastic. He hires 3 guys. Start calling himself a general contractor for electrical systems. Buying uniforms with logos. Asks me what I think of the logo design. It's a lightning bolt. Tacky. I tell him it looks like a superhero cartoon. It's unprofessional, I say. He sighs. The guys like it, he says. It stands out. I tell him he has no aesthetic sense. He keeps the logo. 6 months later, business is booming. He buys a new truck. Ford F-250, lifted leather seats, cost more than my student loans. He's so proud of it. Look at this towing capacity, he says. I ask him why he needs such a massive vehicle. It's compensating for something, I joke. He doesn't laugh. I need to haul generators, he says. I tell him it's bad for the environment. Gas guzzler. He says he pays for the gas. So what's the problem? I tell him the planet is the problem. He walks away, shakes his head. I notice he stops showing me things, stops talking about his day, just comes home, showers, eats, sleeps. I feel relieved. Don't have to pretend to care about junction boxes. My department announces a budget cut. My adjunct hours are being reduced. I panic. I can't afford my share of the rent anymore. I tell Mark, Expect him to be worried. He shrugs. Don't worry about it, he says. I got it covered. He pays the full rent without blinking. Also pays for groceries, internet utilities. I feel guilty but also entitled. Society owes me this support so I can do my important work. He's just the patron of the arts. I start resenting his success. It comes so easy to him. He just moves his hands and gets paid. I have to think, suffer, agonize over every sentence. It's unfair. He comes home one day with a bottle of expensive scotch. Celebrate with me, he says. Just won the bid for the city municipal center renovation. Multi-year contract. Government work. Big league. He says he's projecting $300K profit next year. I feel sick. He makes in a month what I make in a year. I tell him that's great, but don't let it go to your head. It's just government bureaucracy, I say. You're just a cog in the state machine. He pours a drink. I'm proud of it, he says. I built this from nothing. I tell him you didn't build that. Quote, a political speech he hates. You rely on infrastructure, tax breaks, labor exploitation. He stares at me. I pay my guys $40 an hour plus benefits, he says. That's more than you make. Ouch. Low blow. I scream at him. Tell him money isn't everything. Tell him he's intellectually bankrupt. He's just a glorified laborer. He sets the glass down. At least my labor produces something real, he says. The lights work when I leave. What works when you leave? I'm stunned. He's never talked back like that. I storm out. Go to a coffee shop to write. Can't write. Too angry. Why doesn't he respect my intellect? He thinks he's better than me just because he has money. Philistine. Things are cold for weeks. We sleep in the same bed but don't touch. He works later and later, says he's overseeing the night shift at the site. I suspect he's just avoiding me. I focus on my dissertation defense. It's coming up. This is my moment. Once I'm a doctor of philosophy, he'll have to respect me. I invite him to the defense. He says he has to check the schedule. It's the most important day of my life, I say. Try to make time in your busy wire-pulling schedule. He looks hurt. I'll try, he says. Day of the defense. I'm nervous. Wearing my best blazer, presenting to a panel of 4 professors. Mark isn't there. I check my phone. Text from him. Emergency at the site. Main breaker blew. Can't leave. Good luck. I'm furious. He chose a breaker over me. I defend my thesis. It goes, okay. They grill me on my methodology. Suggest major revisions, but I pass. I am technically a doctor. I go home expecting a celebration. Apartment is dark. Mark isn't home yet. I sit on the couch in the dark, drinking cheap wine. He comes in at 10 p.m., covered in soot. Looks exhausted. I'm so sorry, he says. It was a disaster. We almost lost a whole grid for the block. I saved it, though. I don't look at him. I'm a doctor now, I say. Congratulations, he says. Tries to hug me. I push him away. You're dirty, I say, and you missed it. You don't care about my mind. You only care about your stupid business. He steps back. I worked 14 hours today so we can pay for this apartment, he says. So you can play professor. Play professor? I shriek. I am an academic. I am the cultural vanguard. You are a tradesman. You are beneath me. Silence. The air leaves the room. I realized I said the quiet part out loud. He looks at me. Not with anger, with pity. Beneath you? He asks softly. I support you. I listen to you. I put a roof over your head. And you look down on me. You think you're better than me because you read books I don't understand. But you don't understand how the world works. He goes to the bedroom. Packs a bag. Where are you going? I ask. Panic setting in. Hotel, he says. I need to sleep. And I can't sleep next to someone who despises me. He leaves. I cry. Tell myself he's being dramatic. He'll be back. He pays the rent. He has to come back. 2 days later, he comes back with a moving truck and 2 of his employees, big guys. They start moving his furniture. The TV, the sound system, the nice couch. What are you doing? I scream, breaking up with you, he says calmly. I found an apartment closer to the shop. You can keep the bed. And the books. I blocked the door. You can't just leave. We have a lease. I paid the lease break fee, he says. Landlord knows I'm leaving. You have 30 days to sign a new lease or move. I can't afford this place alone. I yell. I know, he says. Maybe you can get a raise with that new doctorate. He leaves. Apartment is empty, just my desk, my books, and a mattress. Silence is deafening. I apply for tenure-track jobs. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Market is oversaturated. Nobody is hiring humanities professors. I have to move out. Find a studio in a bad part of town. Walls are thin. Can hear neighbors arguing. Rent takes 60% of my adjunct paycheck. Eating ramen and frozen peas. 6 months later, I'm miserable. Grading papers for students who can't read. Why does this matter, they ask. I don't have an answer anymore. I see a van on the street. It has the lightning bolt logo. Spark Solutions, Inc. It's a new van. Pristine. I look it up online. Mark's company website. It's slick, professional. Our team page. There's Mark, wearing a suit, no hard hat. CON founder. He looks good. Clean. Happy. Next to him is a woman. Sarah Jenkins, director of operations. She's beautiful. MBA. Looks like she knows how to run a business. I stalk his Instagram. He never posted much when we were together. Now he posts constantly. Photos of completed projects, skyscrapers, malls, photos of him and Sarah. Business lunch with the best partner. Caption reads, they are smiling, drinking wine. He's drinking wine? He hated wine. I told him he had no palate. Now he's holding a glass of Pinot Noir like an expert. I feel a pit in my stomach. She respects him. She helps him grow. I held him back. I shamed him for a success. I see a post from a week ago. Industry Awards Gala. Mark winning Contractor of the Year. He's on stage, giving a speech. I watched the video. He speaks well, confident. I want to thank my team, he says, and especially Sarah, who showed me that my work has value beyond just keeping the lights on. She taught me to build a legacy. I close the laptop, stare at my wall of books. Theorists who deconstruct power dynamics, Marx, Engels, Adorno, all of them talking about the dignity of the worker. I spent my life studying them. But when I lived with a worker, I treated him like trash. I was the oppressor, the classist snob. I realized I don't have any real skills. If the power goes out, I can quote Hamlet. Mark can fix it. Who is more valuable? Winter comes. My heater breaks in my crappy studio. Landlord is a slumlord, won't fix it. It's freezing. I can see my breath. I call a repair service. They say they are booked out for weeks. Everyone is busy, the dispatcher says. Try Spark Solutions. They have a large fleet. I freeze. I can't call him, but I'm cold. So cold. I call the number. Spark Solutions. How can we help you? Cheerful receptionist. I book a repair. Pray it's not him. Next day. Knock on the door. It's a young kid. Apprentice. Here to fix the heater, ma'am. I let him in. He looks at the unit. Wiring is shot, he says. Need to replace the thermostat and the relay. He works fast. Efficient. I watch him. Reminds me of Mark. When he's done, he hands me the bill on an iPad. That will be $350. I don't have $350. I have $100 until payday. Can I pay in installments? I ask. Humiliated. Sorry. Company policy is payment upon completion, kid says. Let me call the manager. He calls. Hey, boss. Customer can't pay. Wants a plan. Pause. Name is... He looks at me. I tell him my name. He repeats it into the phone. Long silence on the other end. I know Mark is on the line. My heart pounds. Maybe he'll waive it, for old time's sake. Maybe he'll come over. Okay, boss says, go ahead, kid says. He said, put it on the charity account. Charity account, not friends and family. Charity, like I'm a beggar. He also said to tell you to change your air filter. It's filthy. Kid leaves. I sit in the warm room. It feels colder than before. A year passes. I'm still adjuncting. Picked up a second job at a bookstore. Minimum wage. But I'm around books. Makes me feel smart. I see Mark's wedding photos on Facebook. Mutual friend liked them. It's a destination wedding. Italy. Vineyard. He's wearing a tuxedo. Looks like James Bond. Sarah looks like a movie star. Caption, building out forever. They bought a house in the historic district. The kind of house I always dreamed of living in. High ceilings, library, crown molding. He bought it. He probably rewired it himself. I'm living in a basement now. Cheaper rent, mold problem. My dissertation was published in an obscure academic journal, read by maybe 15 people. The commodification of desire in late-stage capitalism. Mark is living late-stage capitalism, and he's winning. I meet a guy at the bookstore. He's a barista, writing a screenplay. We date. He complains about the system, complains about people who drive trucks, calls them rednecks. I should agree with him. That's my tribe. But I look at his soft hands, his unwashed hair, his smug sense of entitlement, and I feel disgusted. I realize I hate intellectuals. I hate myself. I try to suggest he learn a trade. Maybe learn coding or plumbing, I ask. He laughs. I'm an artist, he says. I'm not going to debase myself with grunt work. I break up with him on the spot. Walk home in the rain. Pass by a construction site. See the spark solution sign on the fence. Danger, high voltage. I stand there getting soaked, realizing that competence is the only real currency, and I am bankrupt. 3 years later, still single, still adjunct. Mark is now a regional developer. He's not just fixing buildings, he's building them. Saw him on the local news. Local entrepreneur donates new wing to library. He donated a library wing. That, astuncia, the fams. The irony is suffocating. I go to the library, walk into the Mark and Sarah Evans reading room. It's beautiful. Mahogany shelves, leather chairs, plaque by the door, dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and the hard work that makes it possible. I sit in one of the chairs, open a book, try to read, can't focus. I look at the lighting fixtures, recessed LEDs, perfectly aligned. Warm temperature, dimmable. It's perfect work. Art in its own way. I weep in the reading room. Librarian asks if I'm okay. I'm fine, I say. Just appreciating the lighting. She nods. It's nice, isn't it? Mr. Evans installed it himself personally before the opening. Said he wanted it to be perfect for the readers. He did it for the readers. He respected the books more than I respected the work. I leave the library, go back to my basement. Fuse blows. Lights go out. I sit in the dark. I don't know how to fix it, and I can't afford to call him. So I just sit there in the dark, alone with my PhD. It doesn't glow. It generates no heat. It is just paper. And I am just a fool who thought paper was stronger than copper. Lesson learned too late. Respect the hands that build the world, or end up sitting in the dark you created.